Yo, what's going on, everybody? It is 1 p.m. here in Chicago, Illinois. That means it's time for another live stream. Today's May 20th, 2021. Wow, this month is flying by. And suddenly, just like that, we've gone to towards the end of May. And it's basically summertime here in Chicago. We're going to be in the 80s today. This weekend for the marathon, the highs will be in the 90s, maybe. It keeps going back and forth. Yesterday, they were forecasting a high 90. Last night, they were saying 86, 87. It's going to be hot. I have a feeling it might be a little bit humid. It'll be out in the suburbs, so it'll be warmer generally than it is kind of over here by the lake. So it might be a hot one, but summer is kind of like here already. Fortunately, though, it is Thursday, happy hour, time for a nice refreshing beverage. Today, I'm going to be trying something. Well, I've already tried it before because I ran out of my other recovery beverage. I finished the Tailwind recovery and I needed something else. So I already opened this. I've tasted it already, but I wanted to drink it with you guys to give you guys kind of my take on it. Cause I think it makes me ask a lot of questions. So it's the Skratch recovery mix with chocolate. I generally really like Skratch drinks. They taste really good. And the overall consensus of it is, sometimes for me, my thoughts on Skratch is, a lot of times, like the products are too like natural. It's too like when I drink the Skratch juices, like the hydration mixes, I feel like I'm drinking juice, like regular, like actual juice, like not drinking a sports beverage. Like I kind of like my recovery drinks, my gels, my sports drinks to not be so natural that I feel like I'm like eating applesauce or drinking like mango juice. I want it to be like sciencey. That's a weird kind of consumer preference, but I definitely have that preference. We'll talk about this. We'll get into that in a moment. But first, I want to say thanks to everyone listening to on the podcast version and the audio only. Hopefully, you're having a good run out there today. Hopefully, it's nice and warm where you are finally, and then you're having a good day and a good run out there. And everyone watching this on YouTube after the fact, not live. Hopefully, it's at a time where you can sit back and enjoy this program. Can we call it a program? This live stream. But it won't be live for you, but hopefully you can enjoy it with a recovery beverage of your choice. All right, let's see who we got here. Kiefer's coming in saying Skratch Labs. I've been debating buying some of their recovery mix. I just finally broke down and bought that Univid turmeric recovery mix. P.S. and Be Fresh Foam More version 3 are nice. Awesome. Well, Kiefer, you have to let me know what you think about that Univid recovery stuff. I love it. I've got a bunch of it. A lot of times Univid will send it to me, which is nice. But other times I go through enough of it that I also buy it on my own as well. It's good stuff. I like it. I usually, it's like $3.50, almost $4 a serving. So like I save it kind of for like my weekend long run or my tough threshold workouts. That's kind of what I save it for. But I definitely am a big fan. Chris says Skratch Labs is my code name for the cat when he gets that earphone bothering him. Does your cat have like an ear problem? My dog has a perpetual, like he's a French bulldog mix. So he's just got these giant big ears. He pretty much always has an ear infection. So he's always scratching his ears. Philip Bourne says, good day, everyone. We'll just go for a glass of wine after today's post work 10K with Laura. There you go. That's nice too. That's the one thing I don't love about this earlier time slot for the weekday live stream. It makes having like a beer for my recovery beverage a little bit less acceptable. So, we might have to, today I was really close to doing it. I was like, I'm going to head over to the brewery, pick up a growler, a beer holding beverage for those of you in the UK and not something else, pick up a growler and have some fresh beer. But I was like, I don't know. I had a lot of stuff. I was running late today. I went to the dentist again, had a cleaning. I'm trying to get all my dental stuff taken care of because I'd been putting it off for so long over the last year. And then when I came back, I had that filling refilled. And both my dentist and the hygienist, the person that cleans my teeth, both of them are pregnant. So it's just like, oh, I got to hurry up and get some of this other dental work taken care of before they're out for their maternity leave. So that's what I was doing a little bit today. But that, threw off the day. The video for today is uploading now. We'll see how we do on the upload stream strength here. I might have to pause that upload because if it's fighting for the Wi-Fi, we'll see how that goes. But so that video shoot the schedule. Hopefully it'll be releasing right at 2:00, right when this live stream is over today. But it just threw off my day, so I didn't have time to head over to the brewery. But, you know, I got that marathon coming up Sunday, so I'm going to want to have some fresh beer when I get back. All right, Robert Hodges here says, what's going on, everybody? Greetings from sunny Miami, Florida. Nice. Hopefully you're having some nice weather down there. And Ina says, hi, Kafood and everybody. Good live stream last night with the English bloke. That's fun. Awesome. Thanks, everybody, for tuning in over on Running Man Sam's channel. I had a great time talking with him. He's been putting out a lot of content lately. And yeah, great to see the work that he's doing. And I love seeing like other people's like little audiences, not little, but like, you know, like the way that people are kind of carving out niches for themselves. And, you know, what I also love seeing is when that shifts as well, like as they grow, as their interest changes, their running experiences change. Sometimes the audience changes or shifts a little bit too. And I think always that kind of thing is really cool. I told after we got off the live stream, I made sure that Running Man Sam kept in touch. Because I think he's a couple hundred subscribers away from that 1,000 mark, which is a very, very tough milestone. So I said, once he hits 1,000, we'll have to have him back on the live stream on this channel so I can congratulate him and ask him some questions. So hopefully we'll be seeing him again very soon. All right. I think that's a good time to get started. I've already kind of pre-portioned out some of the powder. The powder for this Skratch Labs, it looks and smells just kind of like cocoa powder. So it's real nice in terms of the consistency. And I'm going to add, it's 2 scoops of it to about 12 ounces of water, which I feel like is a more manageable size to mix drinks in. Because then if you have like a 16-ounce vessel, like a 2-cup vessel, this is just shy of 2 cups, and you put 12-ish ounces of fluid with the amount of powder that you need for a lot of these shakes, that ends up being like a good amount. So all right, I actually brought a spoon this live stream so I could stir it up. There's a lot of it still in there that needs to get kind of mixed in, and we'll work on that. We'll get that going as we keep chatting here. What else are you guys drinking today? All right. Ooh. G, no days off, says vaxxed and waxed. Second shot today. Nice work. Let's get a vaccination cowbell going on that. But did you actually get waxed today too? Not that you have to tell me, but you know, it's a weird way of putting it, vaxxed and waxed. Chase's Summit. What's going on? Dave says naked tailwind is king. You know, I don't think I've ever had the naked tailwind. I've had a lot of the flavors. The green tea, I think, is my favorite. And then there's like a tropical-ish one, like a red one. That one's pretty good too. But they're all like juices. I really like it. Or squash, as you guys might call it in UK. Right? All right. Brian Foreign says, hello from Dublin, guys. Any news on the Nike Zoom Fly range, Co? You know, I've been seeing just the same one image over and over again. There's this one shoe that keeps getting shown. It's like a yellowish color. I think it's yellow, so that probably means it's like a lime green. And it looks like there's just like a lot of cage structure into it. It looks like it could be like a sibling to the Metcon almost. So I've seen the images. I assume it's coming out soon. I'm trying to think of when like the Zoom Flies come out. I want to say that they come out after the Pegasus, and now it's been after the Pegasus for a little bit now. So maybe soon if that is going to come out, but I don't know. I haven't heard any kind of like information on it. So yeah. All right. I think I got all the main parts of it mixed up, but there's still little chunks in there. You guys know how I feel about the chunks. I'm a huge fan of chunks. Let's get it mixed up a little bit better. All right. Diogo Sato says, Brazil says, hey, Kofuzi. What's going on, Diogo? And it looks like Running Man Sam's here. What's going on, dude? Good to see you. All right. Pia Johnson wants to know, hey, Kofuzi, hope you're doing well, man. How many miles did you get in the Meta Racer? I don't know offhand. Let me check my phone real quick. I can look at it there. It wasn't the biggest amount. I'm trying to think. You know, it's always hard. Where'd it go? I don't see it. I might have already hidden that column on this. All right. I don't know. I want to say it was probably around 50, maybe 60 miles in the Meta Racer. I'm not sure. It wasn't quite 100, but I know that I'm probably not going to run it in anymore, so I've already kind of retired it. All right. PG1980 says, hey, Kofuzi, how's it going? About the Nike Zoom X Invincible today? running the Triumph 18 at the moment, hoping these will be as good. I think that that's a really good transition. I feel like people that like the Triumph 18, there's a high likelihood you're going to really like the Invincible, because they have a similar kind of bounciness. All right. Cheers to all you guys. We made it to Thursday. Hopefully you're having a good day. Now, I will tell you that this Skratch Labs is probably the tastiest recovery drink that I've ever had. It tastes pretty much like chocolate milk. It tastes so much like chocolate milk that it made me look at like the nutritional information and wonder what's in this and how different is it than chocolate milk. So the ingredients on the Skratch Labs are, I mean, it's pretty straightforward. Cane sugar, whole milk, non-fat milk, dextrose, cocoa powder, cocoa extract, lactase, which they say is supposed to help with digestion. I guess maybe if you have lactose issues, salt, and Bacillus coagulans, because it says on top, there's 1 billion probiotic cultures per serving to support digestive health. So, I mean, if you look at that ingredient list, it sounds like chocolate milk. And then I was looking at the nutritional information for the 2 scoops. It's 35 grams of carbs, 8 grams of protein. And then I looked at the 2% milk that we have in our house. And if you add a serving of chocolate syrup, it's almost the exact same numbers for about 12 ounces. So it's pretty much chocolate milk. Now, we've talked about having chocolate milk as a recovery drink before. And I was like, I don't know, that sounds kind of weird. Like milk after running always kind of makes me feel like I turned my stomach. But like having had this for a couple of days now after my run was pretty good. So now I'm thinking, should I just have chocolate milk? I don't know. What are your guys' thoughts on that? I know some of you guys are probably like, finally. But like the other part of me is like, but like I could have chocolate milk and the price per serving would be really good, I think. And I already have a lot of milk in the house anyway, because the girls drink a lot of it. But I'm also like, but then are you missing an opportunity to like, get in a little bit of something, a little extra for your recovery drinks, something specific that's like tailored for running? Maybe that's the hubris of me thinking that like, man can create something better for you than nature kind of thing. I don't know. But all I know is I really like this because it tastes like chocolate milk and it makes me think I should probably just have chocolate milk. Yeah, Kiefer says, yeah, it probably would be cheaper. Leona does love chocolate milk after runs. Yeah, Steven says, yum. It's tasty. It's tasty. Albert Long also enjoys chocolate milk after runs. I knew there would be a lot of you. Leona says soy chocolate milk. That's the thing that I was thinking of is like, well, what if I do almond milk? Because we typically have some almond milk in the house as well. Because then it's like a nut milk. Then it's not an animal product either. So I was like, I'm thinking. But then I was like, what's the protein? Is the protein content going to be similar? I guess I could always add like a protein powder to it. But like, I've been talking about like after a run, I don't want just protein because I have just protein shakes that are low sugar. So I don't know. Do I put some protein powder into my almond milk? I mean, I guess I could. I mean, people make smoothies like that all the time, right? So I don't know. Maybe it's time for me to start tinkering around. So we'll see. Yeah, Susan says, what about chocolate truffles? There we go. No, I'm not sure that'd be a great recovery drink, but it would be good for your soul, I think. And Nifty News says, plain milk and a banana really hits the spot after a run. I'm sure it does, but it just, that to me, like sounds like just instant vomit. I just feel like my stomach would turn on that. But keep in mind, I'm still having a hard time wrapping my head around like dairy after running and like sweating really hard. So I don't know. Yeah. Will Williams says, did some recon on the 5K race course yesterday. I read it was a flat course, but it's far from flat. I may have to reconsider it and adjust my goal time. That's interesting. Yeah. That's a bummer, especially if you were just thinking that it was going to be nice and flat. And especially if you signed up for it, because it was flat, that'd be a bummer, but I think you'll be fine. Well, Kevin Bickerton says he does drink chocolate milk after runs, but always 1 to 2 hours later. See, that's the other thing I was thinking. Well, maybe I just start putting milk in my coffee, but I was like, I do like to have like that, like kind of bolus of protein and sugar, like right after the run. Cause I like to think of it. Well, a lot of people recommend it. I do like the feel of it, making sure I get something in kind of relatively soon after the run. Cause like the way I think of it is the muscles are thirsty. So, I don't know. All right, Leo's saying, Mike, the video is pixelated. All right, I'm going to pause the upload on this other thing. And even though it's really close. All right, we're 4 minutes away from the other upload being finished, but we'll pause it. And then let's see if that'll fix things, because I think that's what's going on. All right, Lucas Lilly coming in with a super chat. What's going on, Lucas? Good to see you again. He says, Coach is better for the Haas. The Razor 3 Plus, the Boston 9, or the SL20 1.0? I don't think I haven't run in the Razor 3 Plus, but I feel like that was just an upper update, a little bit more of a durable, more comfortable upper. So I'm going to assume it's basically like a Razor 3. I would probably drop the SL20 from it, and it's going to be closer to the Razor 3 and the Boston 9. I would personally probably prefer the Boston 9, but I would say Razor 3 or Boston is a good choice. I'm going to give it to the Boston 9 though. That's where I would go with that one. All right. All right. Stephen Gervsor says work sucks, and he's currently hiding from his boss. That's awesome. Very funny. Frank Lahullier says, though, I think I'd rather go with the Razor 3 over the Boston. Yeah, I mean, I could see it. I wouldn't, if someone was like, yeah, I went with the Razor 3 instead, or the Razor 3 Plus instead. I don't think I wouldn't be like, oh, for real? I wouldn't be shocked about it. But I think for my personal preference, I just think that for like a race purposes, I like the upper on the Boston 9 a lot more than the upper on the Razor. Now, I haven't tried the Razor 3 Plus, so maybe there's something different there. Yeah, I think a lot of it's going to come down to that. And I like the Light Strike. I like the Boston 9. It's just a great shoe for me. Yeah, I don't know. For half marathon, both are interesting. Both are good. Dennis Jake is drinking some ice mocha coffee. Nice. That sounds nice. Well, I should do that. I should do that for our next happy hour. That sounds delicious. Maybe I'll just start mixing this chocolate stuff into my coffee and chug a chocolate coffee, I guess a mocha, like an ice mocha coffee, exactly like Dennis. Some options. But yeah. I mean, as much as I didn't like the Tailwind because it had a weird kind of strange taste to it, I felt like, it's kind of like, that's how you know it's working kind of thing. So I know that's not rational, but that's kind of how I feel about it sometimes. With this Skratch, I just feel like I'm having a dessert drink. Maybe that's a good way to get in some extra protein at night, as a dessert. I don't know. Start loading the body with a little bit of sugar so you can replenish glycogen stores overnight kind of thing. I don't know. Or maybe just to satisfy the sweet tooth. I'm not sure. It's really tasty though. I really like it. And Kiefer says, double down and put the Skratch Labs making in chocolate milk. Yeah. I mean, I was going to say maybe it'd be too chocolatey, but is there really such a thing as too chocolatey? I'm not really sure that there is. Chris Yao's got his last packet of Crystal Light Lemonade. Walmart grocery delivery is habitually out of stock. Remember when those first came out? Those you have the little packets and you dump them into the water bottle. Is that what you got, Chris? Remember when those first came out? People had them everywhere. I mean, that gave rise to Noon. That was Noon before Noon was a thing, It makes me wonder, we talked about before, Power Bar and these other companies that were in these runner spaces before running companies were in those running spaces. And it's how do they not shift, or how do they not look at the marketplace now and think, oh, we could totally do that? Why isn't there a Crystal Light Active CLA, right? And just like, it could even be the same nutritional content, but just repackaged in maybe some slightly different flavors, and say like, throw it in your water bottle for after your gym session or your yoga session or your HIIT class or something, you know? I feel like that could be a really good way to market it, because Crystal Light still exists, you know, they still make it, you know, they're still there. And like Power Bar is one of those things where like, how are you not on top of the world if you were Power Bar before? Like, you have legacy, you know? Svenson says fresh coffee does sound good. I do have an afternoon coffee as well. I'm just super tired today. I don't know why, but this week, every video this week is going to be like 15 to 17 minutes long, which is long, and take a lot of work. It just turned out that way in terms of like what I thought would be a great idea to film. So I'm like, I'm just really tired, and it's a high mileage week. I think I'm like, oh, my running buddy's like, hey, you want to go run Saturday? And I was like, yeah. So I'm going to run with him on Saturday and then do the marathon on Sunday. I'm trying to think of like what my mileage is going to be like this week. It's going to be high. So I'm a little bit concerned about that. I'm tired, and I definitely am enjoying coffee. I saw a tweet this morning. Someone said, I forget who it was, but someone said like, morning coffee is for productivity and afternoon coffee is for the love of the game. And I was like, I like that. I like that a lot. All right. Donovan Lester says, super bummed. Oh, got MRI results back today after a car caught in front of me and landed on foot bad. Oh boy. Meniscus tear, cartilage tear, and fluid in the knee. Not running for a long time. Well, I'm sorry, buddy. Sorry, Donovan. That does sound terrible. I'm sure you've thought about that. It, could have been worse. I'm sure that's very little solace as well. So I understand that, but hopefully it's a quick recovery for you. And yeah. That's always a bummer. It's always a bummer. I've been hearing a lot of people talking about MRIs. Who's I listening to talk about MRIs? Oh yeah. So two people that I think you guys know have been talking about MRIs. Both Matt Chittum and Ben Parks have both been talking about MRIs, and they both had very different kind of like outcomes, right? And so Ben Parks's MRI was more like the lines of like, there's nothing really that wrong with you. Is that something like that? There wasn't anything detectable on the MRI. I remember that being particularly notable because that's the same thing that Matt Chittum was worried was going to happen with him. He was like, I'd rather just it be like something is torn or something is really messed up and we could see it and here's the way forward, rather than we don't know why you're feeling hurt. Because I know like that not knowing is also really just maddening and discouraging and makes it feel like it's going to last forever. So that stinks, Donovan. But hopefully you come back soon. Luis Becerra's here, says, yo, what's going on? Late but here. Awesome. Good to see you again. Yeah, Frank said about Ben. Ben said he basically psyched himself out. Yeah, I think that there's that for sure. I mean, I know he's been dealing with a lot on his plate. But, we kind of mentioned it as we were going into that weekend of marathons. We were like, we're not putting bets on it, but we were talking about, who do we think is going to hit their numbers this weekend? And I wasn't sure about Ben because he hadn't had like he didn't have a super, like, he wasn't shooting to have a PR weekend, but he also, didn't have a lot of training momentum, it seemed. And so I don't know if that all plays into it. Hopefully he can reset and, build back stronger. And I'm sure he will. This stuff's good. I like it. It's definitely sweet. It's got probably a little bit more sugar than I normally would like, but it's tasty. It's tasty. Yeah. Matt B says an inconclusive MRI is the worst. Yeah, it's got to be. I've never had that situation, but it's got to be so just infuriating. And Ed Bud says, hope Ben can navigate his way out of that mental cage. Yeah, I mean, we're all rooting for him. We all love him and send him our support. So, yeah. All right. Yeah, Donovan's saying, I'm actually sort of relieved that there is a definitive diagnosis for his problem, at least a solution, even if it's surgery, can be mapped out. Yeah, I mean, I think for a lot of us, I think that basically for a lot of runners and the kinds of people that tend to like distance running, it's definitely the way that we'd rather see it. We'd rather see a 16-week plan rather than, kind of an ambiguous, we'll see how it goes and see what happens kind of thing, All right. Gulshan Paul's here. Says, hello, everyone. What's going on, Gulshan? All right. It looks like my internet connection is better. So hopefully I'm still not as pixelated as I was earlier. All right. I think I'm good. I'm good. Jason Dahl says, hi, everyone. It's been a while. Work and trying to buy a house in this insane market have unfortunately caused me to miss a live stream and not run as much lately. Ooh, well, hopefully you've got the house situation sorted out, though. So hopefully that's good news that you're here. But, everyone goes through their ebbs and flows. So, that's totally cool. And we're just glad to see you again, Jason. And Tony Vu said, did you see the Black Shadow colorway for the Speed 2? Our prayers have been answered. I have not, but I love the sound of Black Shadow. You know what else? Oh, sorry. I just pulled out the headphone. You guys can still hear me, but I can't hear myself anymore. I pulled out the cable. Another color that I just saw, two very interesting things I just recently saw develop as far as colors for shoes go. I haven't seen this Black Shadow colorway, which makes it sound like a pony. So I'm excited about that. But there is essentially the exact same, and I think I'm going to buy it just to do kind of a Pegasus test, is buy this new color that's going to come out on the 17th, I believe. It's available at Roadrunner Sports. I haven't seen it yet in any other retailers, or it's not on the Nike website yet. But it's basically the same colors of the Nike by You shoes that I made, except the outsole is white, and then the midsole is white, and the outsole is the regular Pegasus outsole. But I'm like, well, it'll look very similar, and it'll be an interesting kind of comparison to see if there's any differences. I don't know. I'll be really frustrated if there are really big differences. I'll be like, oh man, what the heck is going on here? But I'll also be mad if it's the same, because I'm like, I spent another $100 and how many bucks to have like the two of the same shoe that are giving me a problem in the right foot. So I don't know. We'll see how that goes. But that's something that's coming. So if you guys liked the color version that I put together, but don't want to do the Nike by You, there's a regular price version that's very, very similar coming out soon. The other one that I saw is the Clifton 8 is going to come in a black on black version. And the way, a lot of Hoka shoes do come in like triple black, but like they're like too black, because I think they're basically intended for people that are in service industries where they have to wear black shoes, but are non-skid on the bottom, like servers, people that work in kitchens, that kind of thing. But this black one, I don't know if it's just the lighting of the product photos or what, but it looks like the upper on this Hoka Clifton 8 is black. The Hoka logo is like dark gray. And then the midsole is dark gray, like really dark gray. So I'm like, if they lightened up those grays a little bit, that'd probably be like the perfect Clifton 8. But I'm probably not going to go out and buy that one, but I do think it looks really nice. So some other interesting dark colors for those of you who hate color like I do. I don't hate color, but Sam Matassa says, I like lighter color shoes. It makes me feel faster. I do note, I will certainly recognize that, when you see someone running from far away and they're working hard and they have lighter colored shoes, it's like this little like Sonic thing, Sonic the Hedgehog thing, where you see like the color flashes go by. Yeah, it does make you look faster. I agree with that. And Ed saying the Peg 37 custom he had last year was weird underfoot and it feels different to the retail 38. All right, I'm gonna have to get that retail 38. Ed, it's not your fault, but I don't really want to buy another Pegasus. I've already bought a Pegasus. I used to buy like 4 or 5 Pegasus a year. It was the only shoe I used to run in. All right. Ken Sprague says Invincible versus Infinity versus Pegasus. All pretty much just easy day shoes. Yes, I would say that like the Invincible and the Infinity are like the use cases overlap. I would say about 100%, and that's a lot of it is preference and price point. Do you like the feel of React foam, or do you like the feel of the ZoomX foam? And it's a lot more expensive and it's a lot more bouncy. It's just a little bit different, but the ways you would use it are the same. And the Pegasus, you would use it similarly, but I think that the Pegasus has been nudging towards faster. Like you want to use it not for your easy days, but like easy days and maybe faster days, overlapping with say like a shoe like the Rincon or the Hyperion Tempo or like the Kinvara, like those kinds of shoes. So it's kind of like edging in that territory, like the everyday trainer for shorter distance runners is kind of where I see it. I feel that it's going that way. So yeah. Jay Pelican says, if it's a shoe that you really like, do you buy 2 pair? Not anymore, because I want to review more shoes, and so like today's video is gonna be about the Endorphin Pro. And like, if I were a regular, if I were normal, I would just keep running on that like crazy because I really love it, and I think it's gonna last a really, really long time. But I will keep wanting to try new stuff. So it's like once I kind of do the second review, I part ways with it. And I just miss I end up missing shoes. Like I missed that one. I lament that it's gone kind of thing. And even then before that, I would sometimes buy a shoe again. With the Pegasus, I definitely do that all the time because new colors would always like come out like all year round. But it got at some point I was just like, I want to try other things. What else is out there? There's so many other shoes. So like it even when I was running in the shoe from like beginning all the way till when it's worn out and needs to be thrown away, I was still like, well, let's try something different. Let's see if there's other things out there. Casey Petty says Black Shadow and Crimson Red available for pre-order at the Roadrunner Sports Run Endorphin Speed 2. Running Warehouse has the Vizier green and checkered flag. Ooh, I'm gonna have to get on. Well, okay. Well, I'll go on to Roadrunner Sports. I'll get an Endorphin Speed 2 pre-order and order that new color. Pre-order that new color for the Peg 38. Man, I've done a decent job not spending a ton of money on shoes the last while, but that was also because like at one point I had like a stack of like 4 or 5 pairs of shoes that I was like, oh, I got to get through all these. I mean, it's a great problem to have, but like the apartment is small and things take up space. But this week I'm getting through some shoes too, so it's good. But yeah, that's awesome. Great heads up tip, Casey. Thank you. And Michael Walker says, I just bought the new Vaporfly 2 for my first half marathon next month. Awesome. Really cool. You'll have to let us know how it goes. Awesome. And Casey says, sorry, not Vizier, Viz Pro for that other Endorphin Speed 2 color. All right. But yeah, let us know how it goes, Michael. Awesome. Ed Butt says, am I crazy or is React different in every shoe? Original Zoomfly Flyknit versus Peg 38 versus Infinity Run, etc. I don't think you're crazy, Ed. I think that they tweak it. I think it's a lot like, remember Fresh Foam when Fresh Foam first came out in the Beacon 1? Like lots of shoes had Fresh Foam, but like you weren't sure what you were getting in each Fresh Foam. So you had to say like the Fresh Foam in the Beacon is different than the Fresh Foam in these other shoes. I think React's that way too. I think part of it is because of the fact that like, I think that depending on how thick the React foam is, it feels different. But like, yeah, I will agree with you. I think that like, it's not so much the shoe as it is the vintage, if that makes sense. So like, I feel like all the React shoes that came out at the same time, like the Epic React, the Odyssey React, and like the Zoom Flyknit, like those all were like pretty consistent React experiences. But then other shoes that have come out later, I think the React just feels a little bit different. And I think they tinker around with it in terms of like how I don't know if it's for performance reasons. Like if we, change like, let's say there's 12 ingredients and we add a little bit more of ingredient 6 and a little less of ingredient 8, or like cook it a little bit longer or less or whatever it is that it takes. I'd love to go to a shoe factory. I've never been to one. Whatever it takes to like make those shoes, I think that they just tweak it. I don't know if it's always for performance. I suspect that there's a lot of it that's like, let's tweak it. If we add a little bit more of this instead of that, it will save us 6 cents per midsole, 12 cents per pair of shoes, and save the company while making the same amount of revenue or more, like $17 million. So I feel like there could be certainly something like that just because they're so big. So I'm always like, whenever Nike says like, yep, all we did was blank, 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 I'm like, okay, you sure? So like, that's kind of how I feel about it. Cause I'm like, no, there's no way. There's no way, because there would have been, even if it's the same midsole, it's not like, well, because we had a whole bunch of these extra midsoles laying around from the first production run, we're just going to use the same one for number 2, or we bought enough for 2 years worth when we put in the initial order. So there could be a different factory. There could be a different process. I just think that, all those things put together, there could be lots of variations. I have zero like data to back that up, but I just feel like based on the variances that you're seeing it and the kinds that I've seen, I feel the same thing. That's what I think is kind of like what happens. But I don't know. Maybe there's someone like that works at Nike that's lurking in the background like, this guy's such an idiot. He has no idea. Very, very possible. Rodrigo Otsuki says, or wants to know, Kayano Light versus I can't say it. Kayano Light X Prism. Comparable in terms of stability feeling? I don't know. I'm not familiar with that shoe, and I don't think I've ever run in any Kayanos before. I tend to stay away from the stability shoes, so I don't know how to guide you on that one, but I wanted to point it out in case anyone else here has experience with those. Let Rodrigo know. I don't know. All right, Dominic Smirnowski says, hey, Kofuzi, a new 5K PR today, 1942. Yeah, awesome. Super fast. Says, thanks for the tapering tips you gave me the other day. Awesome. Excellent news. Thanks for the follow-up and letting us know. Excellent. All right, Brendan Cam says, yo, what's going on? He's in a good mood because he's got his Pfizer shot booked. It's a book for Pfizer shot on June 8th. Nervous, excited, relieved, all at the same time. Awesome. I'm glad you're getting it, Brandon. Yeah, I knew you were feeling like I was feeling a little while ago, where I was like, I just don't know. I feel like everyone's getting it but me. But you're gonna get it too. Awesome, Brandon. Dev Runner says, how about you? What's going on, Dev Runner? He says, how about you for recovery? I don't know. I'll have to look at the nutritional information. But I know. I just feel like, we're assuming here that all carbohydrates are equivalent, and that all, so like based on the numbers in the way that they get reported, it seems this Skratch recovery drink seems to be exactly the same as chocolate milk, but I'm sure that there's some differences. Whether those are meaningful or not, I don't know, but it tastes like chocolate milk, and so much that it makes me think about just having chocolate milk. Yoo-hoo, though, is another thing. What I love about the gutsiness of Yoo-hoo is like, I don't know. A lot of moms don't like giving their kids chocolate milk because it's just too sweet. And Yoo-hoo's like, what if we made it sweeter? Yeah. That's how I feel about that. But I don't think I've had a Yoo-hoo in a long time. It's been a while. It's a good drink. Ed Azwahe says, hi, Kofuzi, what are some of the best easy day recovery run shoes? I usually use Adidas Ultra Boost 2020. Thanks. I would probably say I would look at the 1080. I like the 1080 version 10 more than the 11, I think. And the same with the Triumph. I like the 17 more than the 18, slightly. But I ran again in the Clifton 8s today, and I'm pretty tired from yesterday's workout. So like, it worked out really good. I was like, oh, these are really comfortable on after a hard workout. I mean, the first time I wore this is my second time wearing them. The first time I wore them the day after a 20-mile run. So it's not like I didn't really need a recovery day shoe that day. But yeah, this time I'm wearing them again after a hard workout. Threshold repeats yesterday. And today I was like, this is exactly what I need. So I would say Clifton 8 is probably the one that I would go with. Of those, I mean, all three of those are really, really good. But Clifton 8 is the most recent one. And I've been telling you guys, I think I've mentioned this every day this week for some reason. I definitely get affected by recency. So the things that I've tried the most recently are the things that I always think are better or remember the best. So, yeah. I mean, some people are more primacy people, like the things that they tried first. I'm more of a primacy person with music, but I'm a recency person with shoes, I guess. Although I do have some sentimental favorites. Like for music, I grew up not listening to a lot, my parents listened to a lot of either like the church radio stations or classical music growing up. So that's kind of like what I listened to, the music that we had on in the house. And my wife grew up listening to, her parents' musical preferences growing up. So like she always knows like the songs that are on like TV, or if they're in movies, she always knows them and knows all the words. And I'm like, how do you know all these songs? How do you know? I'm like, how do you know the words to the Staples commercial? She goes, oh, it's not a Staples commercial. It's a song. I'm like, oh, okay. And same thing with like covers. Sometimes I'll hear the cover and not know that it was a cover. And then I'll go back and listen to the original version. And I'll be like, I don't like this one as much. So whenever there's like, whatever one I've heard first is the one that I tend to like more. I have a hard time like unhearing it, I guess. Maybe. All right, Andrew Bostic says, hey, Kofuzi, I'm a 7th grader, but I don't know how to train to get faster over long distances. I'm a 1 mile and 2 mile runner on the track, but I run more during the week, question mark. Yeah, great question, Andrew. Welcome. Yeah, I would say, when you're in 7th grade, like your body will go fast. Like even if you just start thinking about track speed work, unlike someone who's a lot older than you, like I am, who it takes a lot of effort to pick up speed. So I would say for a lot of people that are looking to get really good at the 1 mile and 2 mile is to run a lot of easy miles and be consistent, right? Those I think are the two, most important things that you can do. So like, for me, when I was your age, like if I didn't have practice and a coach like yelling at me to run, I didn't run. So like if it was like, no meet this weekend, no practices, run on your own, there was no way I was running on my own. I'd feel it on Monday and I was just like, I'll sweat it out on Monday, but Saturday and Sunday, that's me time. So I would say, don't do that. So make sure that you're getting in something. It doesn't have to be a ton. Get in a couple miles on Saturday, easy. Get a couple miles in, a few miles on Sunday, easy. Make sure you're running regularly and consistently. It's okay to take breaks in the off seasons as well. But, like for me, again, what I would do is like the minute the season was over, one season was over, I didn't run until like maybe like a week or two before the next season started. So if that was like from the spring to the fall, that meant I went the entire summer without running until like 2 weeks before school started again, or until practices started again, which was usually a little bit before school. So like, you lose a lot of ground that way. And that's where a lot of the development happens. All right. I'm about to lose my camera here. There we go. All right. We'll switch to the webcam on the laptop. So I would say like the best things that you could do for yourself are make sure you're working on consistency and building aerobic base. Cause even for the 1 mile and 2 mile, if you listen to people like me talk about it, that's a sprint. I know at 7th grade at the track level, those are like the distance races. So it's a just different perspective, but there's a lot of aerobic activity and aerobic strength that you need for that. The speed work, when you're working with your coaches, the practices that you're doing, that will take care of that. It's that aerobic work that you do kind of like, it's unglamorous work. People don't see it. It doesn't look that great as far as Instagram type of stuff goes, but like that's the grunt work that makes you fast at that level, in my opinion. So I'm not a coach, but that's my opinion. I would also make sure, above all of that is make sure you're talking with your coach and like bring those things up with your coach, because your coach sees you. I'm assuming you have a coach. Your coach sees you on a regular basis and knows you a little bit more than I know you from just our interaction here in the chat. And that person can tell you like, here's what I see are your strengths and weaknesses, and help you really dial in on that. So I would really encourage you to open and have this same exact conversation that you're having with me. And I love the initiative that you're showing. Have it with your coach too, so that your coach also knows that like, all right, here's Andrew. He really wants to improve himself. So like, how can I make sure that I'm reaching Andrew and helping Andrew reach his potential? Because, the coaches love to see that, make their jobs easy, so great. All right, let's do one more and then I gotta get going for a day. It's a beautiful day here. So the kids are dying to go for a couple of laps around the pond. All right. Mark Chancoco says, should I get a second pair of Peg 37s? They're under $70 now. That's crazy cheap. I'd say if you love the pegs and you want a new one, I would say at this point, given I have the one run that was kind of, lackluster in the 38, well, very exciting, but also a little bit disappointing. Not lackluster, I guess, highs and lows. I would say a second pair of pegs is a great deal at under $70, because you could always get the 38s later this summer. They'll be there. You know what I mean? So like, I think this is the year of buy a discounted pair of last year's version and then get the new ones later in the summer. I mean, like I think I've said that for like the last 3 or 4 pairs of new shoes that I've looked at, where that easily can be done. So, yeah. So there we go. All right. I think that's a good place to leave it for today, guys. The video in a little while, hopefully by about 2:00, will be about the Endorphin Pro that I promised you guys that we would have this morning, but it's a little bit late. It'll be out today. And then hopefully for tomorrow, I'll be able to do a Mach 4 versus Clifton video, another video in the What's the Difference series. So that video hopefully will be tomorrow morning. And then after that, let's do another live stream. Same time as today, 1 p.m. Central Time. It's going to be another nice day, and it'll be a Friday. I don't know, maybe I'll make a trip up to the brewery. So hopefully we'll be able to make that happen. But in either event, I'll see you tomorrow. In the meantime, be safe out there, everybody. Thanks.